Hello everyone. Yeah, so welcome to another video in this series. So I officially ended the series, but yes, unofficially it will be continued. So I want to extend this series to include more components and also how to use a decision strategy in a data flow, etc., etc. So I want to discuss more things, right? So that is why I will occasionally add videos to this particular flow, right? So in our set of videos, which we have covered so far, we have built an end-to-end use case, which I'm actually showing it to you. And we have also tested with the right test panel as well. Okay. Now in this video, I want to refer this particular strategy or call this strategy in a data flow. So basically, in the academy instance, I have nearly 7,000 customers, right? For every customer, I want to run this strategy and the eligible offers. So whatever the offers which were written by this particular strategy, I want to write them to a file in a file repository. So this is my idea. Okay. So I have done that already, right? I will build it from scratch. So this is the basic idea. Okay. Let us actually go through what we'll be doing in next few minutes. So we will be creating a data flow in our customer class and with a source data set as our customer. And we will convert this into data decision request customer CDH, right? And then we will load the customer data using out-of-the-box data flow called customer data CSMS onto an embedded page called .customer using the compose shape. And then we are going to call our decision strategy. Finally, we will be writing the generated data from this strategy to a file, and the file should automatically be created in a file repository. Okay. The file repository we are going to use the one which is given by the Academy instance itself. Okay. Yeah. So now let us quickly start creating a new data flow, right? So let us actually follow step-by-step process of creating a data flow. I'm using the create menu in the header portion of the Dev Studio, and I'm going to create a data flow, right? So let us put the name as get credit card offers to customers underscore V2. Okay. And the class would be our customer class. So why we have to put the customer classes? We are focusing on all the customers present in the system, and the customers are stored in the customer table associated with this class, UBank CDH data customer. And for a data flow, if I want to provide a source data set that has to be in the same class. That is why I'm creating the data flow in my customer class, right? So let us quickly save it to persist this record and then let us configure it. Our first step is to configure the source. Okay. Our source is a data set. So we will have a data set with a name called customer, and this is an RDBMS data set. Okay. Like if I open this data set, as you can see, this is presenting UBank CDH data customer with an ID called customer, and it is presenting CDH role, and it has a key called customer ID. And the type of data set is database table data set, correct? And the table name is CDH customer. Okay. Now, the next step uh, is to convert the records of the customer class to decision request class. Why? Because the strategy which we have created is present in data decision request customer CDH class. And that is the reason we are going to convert the records PXOBJ class to data decision request customer CDH class. Okay. I'm using convert shape to this, right? and convert page on Ubank CDH data customer into data decision request customer CDH. Okay. I will wait for this autocomplete to load the class which I have mentioned in this field. Awesome. So there is a class, right? Hmm. Okay. Now I don't want to auto copy the properties with identical name. I will add mapping. Okay. So let us add a customer ID, and then let us add PY subject ID as well. So both will get the data from customer ID. Okay. Basically, what is this mapping? So I'm converting the records PX obj class to a different class, correct? And while converting, a new page gets created of the class data decision request customer privilege. And in the new pages, we will have these two attributes, customer ID and PY subject ID, which are mapped from customer ID, okay, from the customer class. I mean, the record which we are actually uh, getting converted, right? So from that particular record, we are taking customer ID and putting into these two attributes. And these two attributes will be present in a page of class data decision request customer CDH. Okay, let us click on submit and save. So we have a preview functionality in the data flow. You can click on, you can right click on any component. In our case, it is convert, and you can click on preview. Okay, it will show you 10 records, and as you can see, right, it has given 10 results. If I go to result of one, it has customer ID and PY subject ID with PX obj class is equal to data decision request customer CDH. Now, if I go back to the customer data set and just preview on it, it again shows certain records. But if I see the record number one, the customer ID is 14, the same record which you have seen in the second component, it has many properties in it. But since we have copied only two properties in the convert shape, that is why we are able to see only two properties per page in this particular preview. Okay. And what is our next step? So the next step is to load the customer data. So as you can see, the NextBest Credit Card V3 is actually running on data decision request customer series, so which should also have a customer embedded property or page property to iterate over, right? So we have to load the data into this customer switch. So in order to do that, we have to load the customer data, correct? So the customer data can be loaded onto dot customer, which is an embedded property under this decision request class. Okay. So from where we have to load? So we have an out of the box data flow in our context class. Our context class is what? View bank CDH data customer. So this is our class. And the data flow which we are focusing on is customer data CSMS. So this is the data flow which we are focusing on. So let us see what is present in this data flow. So by the way, it has created with the name customer data CSMS. If your context name is subscriber, it will create something like subscriber data CSMS. And this is going to be created during your initial setup of your application while context dictionary is being saved. Okay. And it has a source data flow called customer data. First, let us actually look into this customer data. right? So as you can see, the source of this is abstract. Okay, that means it is a single case data flow. We can call it as, correct. And here we have merge share, and here we have a data set, right? This data set is again the customer data set which we are using. So here we are merging with customer ID is equal to customer ID. So what does it mean? Uh, so here in this compose shape, right? So we will put a condition called dot customer ID is equal to. So here we have to put the customer ID corresponding record, for a corresponding property. We can actually put PY subject ID or customer ID because we have the data in those two attributes, but I will prefer dot customer. And uh, so whenever it retrieves the data from customer data CSMS, it has to put somewhere, and we have to put that in dot customer. So that means, as you can see, in our data decision request customer privilege, we have an embedded property called customer. This is the page property. We are using this particular property onto which the customer data will be loaded. So let us name this compose with compose customer data. Right. Now let me submit and save, and let me open the compose again. So in this compose shape, we are having a condition called so decision in the decision request page. The customer ID should be equal to customer ID present in the customer data CSMS. That means this customer ID will be used for all the joining conditions. Correct. Now let us go back to customer data CSMS, and from here we will go back to customer data. And in this customer data, you can see we have a merge operation, right? So as you can see over here, we have abstract and the data set is customer. So the from the customer data set, customer ID, right? So customer ID is a key for the customer data set is equal to customer ID from the abstract. So here, what is abstract? So in our case, abstract is nothing but the page on which this single case data flow is running. So on which page it is running? So it is running on decision request page, correct? So on the decision request page, we should have something called as a customer ID, and that customer ID should be equal to customer ID, right? And the data will be merged, okay, onto the customer page. I mean to say this customer page, right? And finally, not finally, uh, and we are composing account data CSMS. That means a customer can have multiple accounts. Now, see, in this particular, since we are merging, we have a customer, correct? And under the customer, so we have a compose operation over here. So here we are composing the accounts. That means under the customer, we will have accounts. And under the customer, again, we will have financial services clickstream. This is one of the associated data. And offline product scores and external model scores. This is the one which I have added. Okay. And then finally, it will go back to customer data CSMS. And here it will add out of the box contact summary, action insights. This is for contact policies. And finally, the journey stages. And all this operation will happen on the customer page, correct? On the customer page, it will happen. Okay. Now, let us quickly preview this compose component. So when you click on preview, it will load 10 records. So the first customer ID, so as you can see, the primary record is still data decision request customer feed. So since we have used the compose shape, it has added a customer embedded property to this. Okay, and it loaded all the customer data. And if I expand the customer, it also loaded accounts. So this customer has one account, and it also loaded financial clickstream data. Okay, and it did not load other associated data because this customer might not have those data. Okay. Now, next, what we have to do? So we have to call the decision strategy suite. So in the decision strategy, we have current page and another page. So we are going to run the decision strategy on the current page itself. And our decision strategy name, let us copy it. Next best rate card V3. Okay. And when you call a decision strategy in a data flow, it has four modes. Four. Make decision and store data for later response capture, and capture response for previous decision by interaction area, capture response for previous decision in the past period. So the first three are very important. In this video, we are going to learn make decision. Okay. Uh, what is make decision? So this mode just executes the strategy on every page or record of the data flow. That's it. Okay. What does it do? It will just execute the strategy on every page or record. And the primary page of the strategy is the record page. And external input will be of no use in this mode. That means when you call a strategy with make decision mode, that means you should not use any external input because nothing will be passed from the data flow to the strategy. Okay. Uh, Next one is the strategy outputs. So when the strategy will execute and it outputs the results in SR class. SR class is nothing but strategy result class, and it has three types of output methods. Okay, one is individually. What is meant by individually? Uh, Individually means it will output all the results of the strategy one by one. Okay, that means till now, till the decision strategy, every record is having the PX obj classes data decision request customer serials. Now, after the strategy execution, when we select this individually option, uh, since the strategy will result in SR class, correct? So that means every record which is coming out of this decision strategy component will be of SR class. The second option is updated in class, and the third option is embedded in page or pageless property. So we will discuss all these three in this video. So first, let us select individually. So when you select individually means, you can see here, strategy outputs. When you select individually, uh, it has a drop down, all results and final activities V2. So final activities V2 is our component, okay, in this particular strategy. And this component is attached to result component. So basically, when you call a decision strategy in a data flow, right? So when you select individually, it will actually show the components which are attached to the results component and the results component itself. Okay. So if there are two components attached to the results component, you can choose between them. But in our case, we have only one component attached to the results component. I will select all results and output properties. As you can see, the strategy outputs many properties, right? Okay. We have to select, if we need all of the properties, we have to select output all properties. If we need only few selected properties, then we can select output selected properties and click on select properties. It will show you a window. In this, you can select what the properties which you require. Okay. And yeah, it has 88 strategy output properties selected. So, but for now, I will be selecting output all properties. And let us click on submit and save. Okay. Now let us preview on this decision strategy. Preview. Yeah. It resulted in 10 results. And the first result, let us go into the PX OBJ class. So the PX OBJ class of this result is CDHSR group credit cards. Now, as we discussed, so when we select individually option, it will output every record which is coming out of the strategy, and the record which will be out will be having the same SR class as the strategy, right? So the result of one uh, is a rewards card, and for the customer con 008. And if I go to result 2, for the customer ID 19, we have the rewards card. Okay. And for 20 also rewards card. And for 15 also rewards card. Yeah. So like this, the strategy has evaluated um, the the strategy is executed for each and every record which is coming from the previous component called as compose. And then it has evaluated an offer and it is sending out. Okay. Now, all the offers which were generated has to be written to a file. This is the business requirement. Okay. So for this, let us use the existing file repository, which is provided by the Academy instance. So in order to access this, you have to use this option, file browser. Okay. And here we will have the username and password, Pega file repo username, and Pega file repo user password. Let me log out and log in. So here you can copy the username and password from this. So Pega file repo username. So Pega file repo is the password and login. So when you log in, you will be able to see, okay, this is a file browser and it has many folders in it. So the customer offers is a folder which I have already created, but I don't want to use this folder. I will create a new folder, offers. Okay. So this is a folder which we have created and currently it is empty. Now let us go ahead and create a file dataset, data model dataset. Okay. And the type of the dataset which you are going to create is file. And every dataset should have an applies to class, correct? Now that this decision strategy will output the results in CDHSR grow credit cards and the same class which we have to provide. Okay. With CDHSR grow and credit cards. And I'm going to use artifact feature and the name of the data set, let us put offers file. Okay. And let us create and open. Okay. Now the file location, yeah, the files on repository, and we are going to use a repository which is already created, the file repo. It will be available in the system. Okay, this is out of the box. If we actually go and see this, you can see the resource path is OPT Pega file report. So this is and what we call the Academy instance is already provided this for us. We can use it. And the path, so we have to provide the file path. So let us select the new folder which we have created, Office, and the file name would be customer office dot csv. Okay, we want to output the ACSV file. Okay, now let us scroll down and let us click on configure automatically. It will actually populate a few details. The file type is CSV and file contains header yes, and the delimiter character would be comma. Okay, this configure automatically option will only work when there is a file with this particular name in the offers folder, but we don't have. That is why these options were not automatically populated. So the delimiter character should be comma and supported quotation marks. Yeah, let us put double quotes. Although we will not have any quotation marks, but let us put double quotes. That means whenever there is a text which is having a double quotes, that will be persisted or escaped. And the date format, and time of day format, I'm leaving as is. Now, the next important thing, we have to go to mapping and we have to add mapping, right? So first, let us put customer ID. And let us put a subject type and what offer he has qualified with a detailed business issue, business group, and business name. So business issue and the business group and business name. Sorry, action name, right? And the next thing is interaction ID is also important for us. Okay. Now the customer ID, let us take it from PY subject ID or customer ID. Okay, PY subject ID. Since the result are coming from strategy, we have to take it from strategy outputs. So that is why we have to select PY subject ID. And in a subject type, we have to select PY subject type. Okay. Business issue, it would be PY issue. Business group is PY group. And action name would be PY name. And the interaction ID would be PX interaction ID. Okay. Now the mapping is done, and let us save this file data set. Okay. Now copy this ID and let us go to the data flow. Now configure the destination of this. So in the destination, let us select the data set. And in the data set, I will be pasting the copied name. Okay. And the file creation action. So running this data flow creates multiple files per partition and one file per partition. Okay. So if you select the second option, it will actually create one file per partition. What does that mean? So this data flow will be running in a batch mode, correct? Right. That means it will be running in all the batch nodes available, and the data set which we are focusing on the customer, right? It doesn't have any partition key. So let us say if it has a partition key mentioned over here. So what happens? So this data flow will be distributed across different partitions and different nodes. Okay. But since we don't have any partition key, when I run this data flow in batch mode, so it will execute in only one partition and in only one node. Okay. It will not distribute across the different nodes. Okay. So during that time, when there is a partition key for the customer, right? During that time, what it will do when I select the second option, for every partition, it will create a single file. Okay, but when I select the first option, multiple files per partition. So this option ensures data resilience and writes data to multiple files when used in the batch and real-time runs. This run creates files based on the snapshot management as defined in the data flow run resilience settings. Okay. So when you select multiple files per partition, then it will create multiple files based upon snapshot settings which we provide when we run the batch data. So basically, snapshot is nothing but the snapshot management is very essential for the data resilience and uh, exception handling. When there is a failure, uh, the data flow will be resumed on other nodes from the point where it has failed. Okay. So during the time, creating multiple files per partition will be useful, right? So that is the reason we have to select the first option. But I don't want to select first option. I will select one file per partition since we have only one partition over here. And let me check in. Our data flow is actually ready now. Now, in order to execute this, I will use actions and run menu. Yeah. So I will do actions and run. When you run, it will actually open data flow work item instance landing page. So the access group will be my current access group and the service instance name is batch. And priority will have low, medium, and high. So I will select high because in our case, this is a top priority data flow which has to be executed. And in the real time, you can actually prioritize this based upon low, medium, and high based upon your business requirement. And I don't want to provide any additional processing. And in the record failure, so the data flow can be failed when the run after more than here we can provide the number of failed records. Suppose the when the data flow is executed, it exceeded 10 records, so then immediately the data flow will be failed. So here I will only put a zero as my value. And the node failure, when a node is failed, then automatically the it will resume on other nodes from the last snapshot. And the last snapshot will be handled by the snapshot management. And it will take the snapshot for every 5 seconds or for every these many number of records. Okay. So for now here I will be putting only zero as my value and I will click on submit. Okay. And here I have to click on start and the data flow will be uh, initialized, queued, and finally in progress. So there are 7,000 change customers in the database table. So it will take some time to process all the records. So once the entire data flow is completed, we will navigate to the folder which we have created and we will see the file. Okay. The data flow has been completed and the number of records it actually processed is 7,819. Okay. And if I go to page number 2, it actually describes all the statistics of the components present in our data flows, right? So in the offer files, we have received 7,819 records. So that means it might be, my intuition is for every customer, we have a single offer, right? So because in our final activities, we have made sure that for only, for a group, we will have only one action, correct? So even though the customer has qualified for more than one offer, so we will be only delivering one offer per group. That is why might be this strategy has evaluated and given one offer for every customer in our system. Okay, because as you can see, the customer is having one second. Where is our customer? So the customer is having 7,819 records. That is the source. And the destination would be offers file. And that also received 7,890. Okay. Now it actually completed successfully. Now let us go back to uh, our file repository and open offers. As you can see, we have one file created. Now let me go back and see the distribution details. How many partitions we have? We have only one partition. So since we have only one partition, that is why we have only one file created. If we have multiple partitions, then multiple files would have created. So let us download this file. Click on this and you can see there is a download option over here. A file will be downloaded soon. So the file is downloaded. Let us quickly open. So this is a file which has been created and it has customer ID, subject type, business issue, business group, action name, and interaction ID. And how many records it has? So it has 7,820 rows. That means one row less, one is for header, right? So 7,819 records. All right. And for every, I think for every customer, we have one offer. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. As you can see, for every customer, it has only given the rewards card. Surprisingly, no other card has been qualified by a single customer. So we can quickly verify by putting a filter in the action name. Yeah, only rewards card for all the 7,819 customers. So yeah, in our next videos, we'll be discussing about the other modes which we are having and what are the purpose of those modes as well. And in one of our next videos, I will also discuss about partitioning. We will be creating partitions in our customer data set, right? And then we will rerun this particular data flow so that we will see how many number of files get created. Maybe let us do it in our next video. So until then, keep learning, guys. Bye.